In today's video, I am going to be taking a look at David Kauadio. He's a very good young basketball player, and he's got around a +4 wingspan, which is quite substantial for a young player. And he shoots at a very high percentage, up in that 40 to 50% range in games. So let's get down, let's check out what he does extremely well and that you can do as well if you've got a longer wingspan on your body. So let's get down, let's check this out. Really quickly, if you did want to shoot the basketball from further away, make sure to go check out the workout that is down below called the basketball shooting workout. That is going to help you build the strength to be able to shoot from basically further away. So what is the first thing that we really want to look at? Well, what we want to look at is, of course, the footwork. That is extremely important. And, of course, his gather. So why is this so important? Well, first off, we can see that he's engaging his lower back and his quads and also his Achilles. This is extremely important if you want to get up faster and have more power in your shot. So by using your lower back, that's going to propel you up. That's going to help with energy transfer into your shot. Next, and you want to be roughly around 90 on your hips and roughly 90 on your knees. And that is going to really help with your ability to get that power. And he's around the 105 roughly degrees, which is fine. Next is his knees, and he's going to be a little bit more than 90s in that 110 range, which is fine. He's getting enough power. He doesn't have an issue of shooting from further away. He's putting up logo shots in game, and he's making them most of the time. And if he's not, sometimes he gets fouled. So that's not that bad. And when we're looking at this shot as well, he's up onto his toes, which is extremely important. And one thing that I do notice that is very popular within players who are younger is he's got a lower set point right in front of his face. And we can see that he brings that ball up the middle of his body. We can really see it from this clip right here where he brings that ball up the middle of his body right here. And while a lot of older school coaches say you need to bring that ball up that right side, not all players are going to be able to do this successfully. Now, if we actually look at his shot, when it goes up the middle of his body, he's able to get it to the right side of his forehead in front of his eye. Now, while that is a lower set point, what is really important is the fact that his shoulder and elbow are towards the rim, and we can actually see from this clip right here that the ball is over top of his upper arm. This is extremely important. You need at least half of that ball or a quarter of that ball over that upper arm. That allows for a straight shot. And we can see that right here where when he releases that ball, it's actually coming off of his middle finger last. We can see that right there. And he's able to release with a straight release. His elbow is above his forehead, which means that it's a high enough release. And we can also see that he has zero thumb flick as well. Now, some players do succeed with a thumb flick. That is something that can work for some players. But if that thumb flick is affecting the ball, meaning that it's releasing at the same time as when you release your shot, it's going to affect that shot, and it's not going to be a consistent shot. So you generally don't want to have a thumb flick at all. You want this hand to kind of drop off, and then you want to follow through, and that's the same for players with longer arms. Now, for players with longer arms, you're going to notice that they do want to bring that ball up the middle of their body. They also tend to bend their elbows just a little bit near the end of their shot. This is sometimes to give them a little bit more power, especially for when they're younger players. However, overall, this is a very good shot. We can see that he has a little bit of a thumb flick, but it doesn't affect the shot because he's releasing that thumb flick before his shooting hand releases the ball, which means that there's no thumb flick at all on his shot. We can also see that everything is in line. Now, not necessarily square to the basket. You don't necessarily want to be squared to the basket. You want to be tilted away, especially if you've got longer arms. You're probably going to have a little bit more tilt than a normal player. The reason being is because you've got longer arms. It's going to be harder to get that elbow in if you don't turn the body away from the basket. That's why a lot of lefty shooters have such a massive tilt. It's just because they want to be able to get that elbow in. I don't know what it is about left-handed shooters, but they do tend to have a little bit more tilt than the average player. However, we can see that when he does have his tilt, we can see that his hips, his shoulders, his knees, and his feet are pretty well all pointing the exact same direction. If you've got a tilt on your shot, you want to make sure that everything is in line. You don't want to be turned here so that you can be squared up to the basket, but then have your lower body off in a different direction. You want to be all in the same direction. And he's able to hit this shot as well. Even going towards his right side, he's going to bring that ball up the middle of his body. Again, this is something that is very popular with players with longer arms because their elbows are going to be out anyways. So by bringing that ball up the middle of their body and then getting it into that set point where they can go straight towards that basket is not affecting their shot. What that's doing is that's allowing for that arm, that elbow to get in, and in this shot, he had zero thumb flick at all. Right there, it's already released. When that hand starts turning, watch, it's not even touching the ball right there when his hand was turning. So he's got no thumb flick as well. His whole body is tilted in the same direction, so again, no issues there. And he's able to have that straight release, and yes, this shot went in. And even when it comes to floaters, going up the middle of your body is something that is very popular as well. As long as you get that elbow and that shoulder in line, you're all set. Now, when it comes to his actual release, we can see that he's got a nice soft release too, which is going to help with the arc on that shot. David, you have a really nice shot, and I would suggest to shoot as much as you can if you're open. And players who are maybe having a longer wingspan, maybe take some advice from this clip and see if we can help you with your shot. So definitely go check out the shooting workout that is down in the description below. You can follow on Instagram David. If you go to Hoop with David on Instagram, he's on there. You can see his highlights, and I'll see you guys again in my next video.